Hey, so I saw this really cool reel today. I wanted to share with you guys and just kind of give a few thoughts on it. It's by a guy who I don't know if any of you have heard of Rick Beato, Beato, but he does a whole bunch of really cool videos about just all sorts of musical topics. Like I've seen one he did about different types of mics. I've seen one he did about how his son developed perfect pitch over time, and it's really cool the way he kind of addressed some of these topics in music. And I wanted to kind of comment on this guy who he had on one of his interviews. He's a mixer from Rolling Stone. Like he works in the studio. He's been doing it for years. And I just love this insight he has. So listen to this, and I'm going to give a quick commentary on it afterwards. So I'm going to play this here.
Analog sounds better to you, whether you know it does or you don't. Your brain is smarter than you are. 6 million years of evolution is not going to be fooled by 30 years of chip design. That's what I think.
Yeah.
These are analog, and they always will be. If you want to argue that, I'm available all day long. The analog is better. It is.
So the reason I wanted to kind of have that video up is because of something that I thought about, that I've been telling people for a while, like from someone who has been working in a studio for a while now. A lot of my associate's degree in music recording technology was diving in depth about really the kinds of things that producers' ears are supposed to be trained to listen for. What this guy's saying, it really always and all the time. I personally, I don't subscribe to evolution. I don't think it's real. I'm not going to go into the reasons why. But I will tell you that your brain notices things that you don't, like cognitively, when it comes to music. The great songwriter Pat Pattison has said that, just as an example, that if you don't say it that way, don't sing it that way. I'm talking about, for example, putting emphasis on the right syllables or with certain melodies and things like that, right? Or here's another one. One of the reasons why a lot of producers charge what they do is because their ears have been trained to notice things the average ear simply doesn't pick up. But your brain does, right? Listen, give your ears 10, 20 listens through a song that maybe it's pretty good, but there's just a little something in there, that just doesn't sit quite right with you. And you just kind of lose interest in it over time, right? Producers' ears hear those things more clearly than the average person. In my associates, I studied a lot of the neuroscience and psychology of how music affects our brains. With all the harmonic balance and acoustic treatment and recording rooms, that stuff makes a difference. It really does. It's the difference between that unprofessional, homemade sound, right? Versus that kind of really professional Spotify ready sound in your music. You may not know when your brain is telling you something sounds weird, right? But that, little something in you notices that's a little bit off, producers have been trained to hear that stuff. And believe me, this guy knows what he's talking about when he says, these are analog. There's a reason why over digitalness, graininess in the sound, too much bass, too much treble, boxiness in the vocals, sometimes that gets in there. All those little things, producers know how to make things sound more natural just by the recording techniques to really capture it in completely high, full fidelity to make it so that what you hear from the speakers is as, close as possible to what you actually hear in your ears if you were there in person in the studio listening to the record. And that's what producers are trained to do. He's right, analog, whether you believe it or not, or this digital thing sounds so good. You know why that digital thing sounds so good? Because it's closer to analog than a lot of other stuff. So just something to think about. the human ear is, and the human brain is capable in more than you think. So trust your producer. Have a great night.